So a fun little activity I want to do as part of this
Okay.
is I want each of us to rate the Predator franchise.
Okay.
So
like in order of worst to best, or 1 to 10.
You can do it in whatever order you want, but just like which movie's your favorite, which is and where that leads, or which is your least favorite, and what the hierarchy of those films is.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. So I think everyone's gonna say the best movie's the first one. I think it's a classic. I think it's one of the best. Like, I like that because like it starts off as kind of like an action movie, like kind of like Commando, and then
it's very much
it turns into like a horror movie in the jungle. Which it's the best one. I watched a couple weeks ago. It holds up still. It's the best one. I honestly think I would put Prey second. I would say I look forward to watching the movie many more times in my life. I'd say that's second. Third place, you might not agree with me on this one, just because it's the first one in the series I watched, and I had the VHS copy hidden in my room for years. Predator 2. I have a soft spot for Predator 2. Love it. I know it's a bad movie objectively. Not everyone loves it. I do. Danny Glover, love him. So I watch that movie a couple times a year just because it's one of my childhood movies. Then you get to, I say, the dregs of the franchise. Predators, parts I like, parts I really like. I can't stand Adrian Brody as an action hero. Like walk around like, this place is too bad for me. Or I'm too bad for this place, I mean to say. And like, just Harvey Dent. He was Harvey Dent. Yeah, it's like, he was terrible. I couldn't stand him in that role. There's some things I like in that movie though. Like I like the idea of bringing like the most dangerous murderers from the world to a planet for the predators to hunt. Great idea.
Yeah.
Should have been better. It's a movie. If it's on TV on TV, that's not a thing anymore. I would watch it, but I'm not going to seek it out. You know.
Okay.
And then. And they bring up the rear of the two Alien vs. Predator movies. The first one, I liked when it came out, but I went back and watched it, and it does not hold up that well. Other than like that one big fight, the first fight between the alien and the Predator, that's cool. The rest of the movie is basically nothing. Nothing really happens. Except for like the Queen shows up at the end and chases the one girl.
Oh, yeah.
She's
like chained up under the temple.
Yeah, and like that scene's okay, but like you can't say two scenes make a movie good. It's not good. And then the Alien vs. Predator Requiem,
indeed.
Too dark. It's shot so dark. Like you can't even see what's going on half the time.
It's so dark, and it's funny you mentioned that. So, as you know, because I've pitched you on Reddit a number of times, I'm on Reddit and I follow the Alien and the Predator forums on Reddit, and somebody the other day, I thought it was so funny. They posted a screenshot that was just black, and they're like, and they marked it as a spoiler, so it would show up blurred. And they were like, "Hey, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I noticed this little detail in Alien vs. Predator Requiem that I hadn't seen anybody post here." And you click on it, and it's just a black screen.
Yeah, that movie again, it's completely forgettable, and that's only remembers that it was dark. And I didn't see like half the movie. It just. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah.
So that's my hierarchy. I say 2 great movies. 1 I have a soft spot for. Then the rest I can watch if it's on, I guess, but I really don't seek them out.
You're missing one.
I am. Which one am I missing?
The Predator.
Oh, bottom of the barrel. That's why I forgot about that movie. That should have been better too. That was Shane Black coming back. Because he was the writer on the first one and came back and directed
and he stars in the first one.
Yeah, he's a Hawkins? Doesn't matter. And
I think it was Hawkins.
I think it's right.
I think.
It sounds right. But comes back. He's directing. He did Iron Man 3, which I think is an underrated MCU movie, it's just not good. And like this guy like Keegan Michael Key, right?
Keegan.
I love him usually, but he's insufferable in that movie. Like I wanted him to die like immediately when he showed up on screen. Like his character, I thought sucked. And Thomas Jane's in it. I think he has like movie Tourette's, and it's just not good. And and like the little kid's like autistic, so he's like can like solve the Predator's equipment for some reason. It's bad. It's the worst one. So I take that. I forgot about that movie. Everyone, sorry, it sucks. You skip it.
I agree with most of what you said.
All right. It's Predator 2, isn't it?
Well, I will say I didn't when I had worked this out in my head already, but I didn't include the Alien versus Predator movies because I just didn't think of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I forgot. I forgot a whole Predator movie, so it's okay.
Yeah, you did. So, all right. So, taking it from the top, favorite movie, Predator 1, obviously. It is a classic. Arnold Schwarzenegger's great.
Oh, yeah, he's in that.
Who is it Bill Duke?
Bill Duke, the guy who shaves dry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bill
Him.
Duke. Carl Weathers.
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
Like the cast.
There's quotes everywhere. It's great.
Yeah. Everything is so beautiful. Beautifully 80s action movie.
Oh, yeah.
It is so good. And I think Sarah cried when some of the characters were killed in it.
I believe it. I think you did.
It was so almost all the characters are very likable.
Yeah.
You can see how much it affects the other characters when others get taken out.
The whole thing with the Bill Duke character was I can't think of right now his name. Mac.
Yeah. I think
like when he gets put down, like he drinks to him. That's not like the scene you see in like most Schwarzenegger movies, you know?
Yeah. And there's so much to like about it. The soundtrack to it,
that's great.
The score is so good. And yeah, the whole scene at the beginning with where they're attacking it's the Colombian
it's Commando
cartel or something. Yeah, it's so good. So there's so much to like about that movie. It's my favorite. Second, Prey.
Yeah, okay.
It's almost an instant classic. I love that they changed the design for the Predator in it.
Oh, because he's got a bigger jaw, I think, right? Or
well, he's completely different almost. It's like it looks like it could be a different species or maybe a different race of the species.
Okay.
You should check out a picture of it afterwards.
I guess I'll have to. Yeah, I know he looked different, but I thought just maybe it doesn't matter.
It's very different, and so the design is pretty original. I watched a behind the scenes feature of it, and to see this with like no special effects, it's still a very impressive thing to see. Yeah. It's really good.
Is this Trachtenberger guy, you think you're gonna follow him now? You're gonna try to watch more of his movies as he puts them out?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on it.
Not the sidetrack.
I do think that they could have released it in theaters.
I think they should have.
I think, and I had read somewhere that the reason they didn't was strictly to do with contracts.
Oh, really?
Because if they put it in theaters, they were going to have to split the distribution with another studio, I believe.
That old chestnut.
And so that's why, because this is something that started at 20th Century Fox, and once they got bought by Disney, it was now Disney. So I think the contracts and everything were worked out first, but then it was filmed under Disney. So I think they had to. That's why the release strategy was.
The fact that Predator and Aliens are Disney movies now blows my mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
I agree with you too about including I've always thought in my head that the Alien versus Predator movies made more sense as part of the Predator franchise than part of the Alien franchise because there's inconsistencies. Like Lance Henriksen's character in Alien versus Predator is literally Guy Pearce's character in the Prometheus movies. So it doesn't make sense if they're in the same universe, but they're universe adjacent, I feel. So that's how I've always felt because they line up. In Alien versus Predator, the weapon that he's got, where it's a net that it throws over, they use that in Prey, but originally that weapon is from Alien versus Predator. It throws it on the alien,
and then it tightens.
It tightens up around the person. I think they kill one human. They kill a human, and then they go to kill an alien. And because the aliens have acid for blood, it's starts.
Oh, that's right. And the alien runs around with the grid on its head the whole time.
I can't believe I remember that detail. Seeing that I haven't seen this movie in so long, but some of those things just stick out. You know.
So Predator 1, Prey.
Next is Predator 2.
Really? Okay. I thought a lot of people hate that movie.
I like it, and so I think a lot of people's issue with it is how they remember it. It's pretty brutal, and the real monsters in the movie are like the humans, because most of the time it's the Predator killing drug dealers and stuff. The way it's done is extremely well. Bill Paxton is in it. He's great.
He's okay.
But their whole crew is they're all very likable. and it's almost like a detective story, you know. It's like Lethal Weapon Predator.
I thought you were going to disagree with me on this one. I honestly did, because
I really like it.
A lot of people I talk to say it's terrible. It's admittedly not the best, but I have a soft spot for it.
I mean, if you ask them too, like we talked to Trav about it last year, and after we talked to him, I went back and watched it, and Trav had basically said like he doesn't remember it fondly, but he hasn't seen it since he was like a kid. And I watched it thinking the same thing, like I didn't really remember it fondly, but it held up very well.
Yeah, 13-year-old me had the VHS hid in my room because it was R-rated. You don't get caught with it. I don't know how I got it. I think I stole it from my aunt or something.
Yeah.
Don't steal.
Next up for me is Predators, but I will say that it sounds like I like Predators a lot more than you, because I do like that. I like a lot of the characters. I think Adrian Brody does as well as I think he does better than anybody would have expected him to in that role.
Yeah, did not like him in that role.
I
couldn't take him seriously.
I didn't mind him. I think Alice Braga is awesome. I love that Walton Goggins is in it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Walton Goggins, one of my favorite actors.
He's great.
He was great in The Shield. He was great in Justified.
It's got a good cast.
Yeah.
It's got Danny Trejo for a bit. It's got that big Russian guy who's in things. I don't know his name, but he's always fun.
Lawrence Fishburne.
He was useless, man. He shouldn't even been there.
It's a cool character.
Yeah,
you know.
It was not a cool character.
I liked it.
He showed up and like they did like a little
He's
thing.
He's just a crazy guy that's like out of his mind.
He tried to like gas them and steal their stuff. And I didn't like that at all. I'll be honest with you.
I liked it, but probably a character that I would love to see more of is the guy from the Yakuza.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely Topher Grace. I think Topher Grace.
He was fine in that. Yeah.
He's supposed to be like a creepy, weak guy.
Yeah, he's actually a serial killer.
And like
that was cool.
That totally makes sense for Topher.
That part was cool in the movie. I did like that part.
He's not supposed to be a badass. Yeah. He's supposed to be a creepy psycho. Yeah. And like I think that makes sense. But the guy
Yakuza was cool. Very cool. Yeah.
So cool. And that like there was like the one-on-one fight between them. Very cool. Very reminiscent of,
as you said, they use each other's weapons. Like that Predator used his blade, he used his blade instead of the Predator like just blowing his head off with like the rocket.
Yeah. Very honorable fight. But so I really like that movie. I've seen it a bunch of times. I enjoy it.
It sounds like we really disagree on the Lawrence Fishburne part, because I hated that. I did. I thought it was stupid. I didn't think it belonged to the movie at all.
Yeah. Well,
that's all right. We can have differences.
Yeah, we can. And I think it might also have a lot to do with the fact that I really like Lawrence Fishburne as an actor.
I like Lawrence.
I was extremely upset that he wasn't in the new Matrix movie, and I don't think I'll ever get over how much I hate that movie.
I despise that movie. I couldn't make it through it.
It's truly awful.
Very few movies I turned off. That's one.
It like doesn't have a plot. But anyways, we're not talking
about that. Yeah.
Next. Same, almost word for word, almost my exact same thoughts on Alien vs. Predator and Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I do like the first Alien vs. Predator. I think it's...
maybe I should go back and watch it again.
It very much is the type of action movie you get in that era of like the early 2000s, because I think it's from like 2001.
Like Vertical Limit kind of.
Yeah, like there's a lot of movies that came out in that era that all have that feel to it. I don't think it's rated R. I think it's PG-13.
PG-13, yeah.
And I think that's where its major weakness is. But I think it overcomes it pretty well because they don't kill that many humans.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say the
most
drags.
of it is it fighting aliens, which you can show as much alien blood as you want. Because
like killing robots doesn't matter.
Yeah. It could be stronger, but I think it could be a lot weaker too.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say it's absolute drags. Like I'll watch that movie.
It's one of my mom's favorite movies. I know that much.
Good old Lori.
Yeah. Yeah, but Requiem, very weak movie. Super dark. Not much of a plot. They try to put plot in it, but
nothing characters and too many of them.
Yeah.
There's like 16 main characters. I'm exaggerating, but it feels like it. And
yeah. And they even do that thing at the end where he's like, "Get to the chopper," and it's just like, come on. You remember that?
Yes. Just
like a nobody character saying "Get to the chopper," and it's like, listen.
It'd been funnier if they would have been
nobody actually says that except for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it'd have been funny if he would have said like, "Get to the helicopter" or something, like, you know.
And then so last and certainly least, the Predator.
Okay.
It is so. I understand there's a lot of studio interference. And
there was? That's always fun.
A lot.
Yeah.
and they had to reshoot the entire third act. And you can tell because the entire third act is incomprehensible as a movie. There's characters that get killed that you're like, wait a second, was that the main character I've been watching this whole time?
Oh yeah, that one guy who like has the shoulder cannon and he shoots his own head off.
Something like that. I don't know.
It's out of nowhere. It's out of nowhere. Yeah.
You can't see a lot of what happens. It's the editing. Everything about the third act is terrible. And so like halfway through the movie, it doesn't become much of a movie anymore. So it's very bizarre, and it's just not good.
Yeah.
It's a terrible.
You can't give crap to the previous movie for the Get the Chopper line and forget that movie had a worse one.
Which one? What did that have?
It had when like they got off the bus and there's motorcycles there they were gonna go steal. He goes, "Get to the choppers."
I must have.
You just had blind rage. You forgot about that.
I had stricken that from the record.
Well, that exists. That's a thing.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Yeah, there's so many things to not like about that movie. But yeah, so that's.
But yeah, as a franchise, it's solid. Like, there's definitely worse out there.
So I'll say the Predator. So that's like the big three franchises from that era: Predator, Aliens, Terminator. And I will say, in the way of like consistently good movies, Predator is probably on top.
Yeah.
I think Aliens is probably my favorite of that era. I think that the movie Aliens is probably better than every Predator movie, but the Aliens franchise is so inconsistent that like you might as well stop watching it.
I'm a huge fan of like Aliens franchise. Well, the first two. Alien is one of the best horror movies ever made.
Yeah.
And then Aliens is one of the best like kind of like an action-y kind of like horror movie. They're two of my favorite movies of all time. And then the other ones exist.
Yeah, the rest are awful.
Yeah.
3, Resurrection,
I honestly can't think
Prometheus, Covenant. Covenant is so bad that it's like you're just wondering why they made these decisions the whole time.
I remember sitting in the movie theater with the flute scene and just sitting there with my mouth open like, what is this? Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah. Why was this not a deleted scene? Yeah. And that movie, every single character is a bad character.
Yeah.
Except for, surprisingly, Danny McBride. And then
she's in it for like 4.5 seconds.
One. Yeah. Both of those movies, not very good. I like Prometheus more than Covenant. But and then Terminator movies. After the second one, it's garbage the whole way through.
I think the first Terminator gets a little overlooked somehow, I would say. I think people don't realize how good that movie is for the time too. 2 is classic. It's one of the best movies ever made, especially of that genre. I don't mind 3.
Well, it's from that same era.
Yeah,
like
it is.
Alien versus
It is,
Predator, and it's PG-13, and it doesn't take itself nearly as serious.
And
watch it again. There's a lot of comedy in it.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. There's the whole thing where like the talk to the hand thing and comes out with like the star-shaped glasses.
Yep.
Okay, all right, maybe it's worse.
And
than I think.
the doctor from the second one is in it, and he's like an old man now, and he is like, it seems like he's put himself through a lot of therapy since then, and they kind of make fun of his character too.
Oh, that's right. He comes out. He's like he sees like no one runs away or something when he sees Arnold again.
Yeah. So Genesis is such a garbage movie.
Bad. And
Salvation is. I think Salvation gets a lot of hate that it probably shouldn't get.
I think it deserves it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big Christian Bale fan too.
I know you are, but you gotta look through those Christian Bale shady glasses sometimes. But it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie.
I think it's mediocre.
I like Dark Fate more than I like that one.
I actually haven't watched Dark Fate.
No.
I heard it was not good, and that there's so many things that shouldn't have been done with it. But I haven't seen it.
I didn't hate it.
Genesis killed that franchise for me.
That should have been the death nail for the franchise. And they're like, here's another one. Like no one's gonna go see that, and no one saw it. So
yeah,
they're not gonna make money. They're not gonna keep going with it.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways, that's
Predator.
That's Predator.